Here to talk about Lion King Mufasa. Now, this is a movie that I just watched last night, not too long ago. Came in from work, cleaned the house up, made some food. I was like, you know what? I usually stream and play the game, but I was like, I'm gonna watch a movie, and then I just so happened to watch Lion King Mufasa, and we're gonna talk about it, break it down. This movie hit on so many aspects of life that you wouldn't even know that it was doing it unless you was really paying attention and not watching it for the nostalgia, not watching it for the entertainment, but actually watching it to understand what the creator was trying to get across and the message in the actual film. And as a creator, you kind of find appreciation for that when you create and you try to get your message across through your art and through your videos and things like that. So I watch movies on a whole different playing field now, and a whole different aspect of how I see things. So we're gonna tap into it. This movie hits on social environments, meaning how you deal with how the world deal with each other as people, relationships, friendships, parenting. Like, this movie, when I seen it, I was just kind of like appalled a little bit, because it was like I didn't like the way they brought in how actual lions operate on a day-to-day basis in real life, and then mash that in with the actual Lion King universe, and then on top of that put in little jewels of what's really going on, like to get the person who is a human being to actually visualize themselves as lions, because you know what I'm saying, we all are animals on this planet. It's just some are just smarter than others. But without further ado, let's hop into it, man. Now, starting off with this movie, it starts off like, this is basically like when it first came on, I was kind of like, am I watching the right movie? Like, because it showed Simba, and I'm like, that's supposed to be a movie about Mufasa, but I thought they was gonna bring it in as like you're watching Mufasa. But I think how they brought the movie in, that this was going to be an actual tale, like an actual story that Rafiki would be telling to Simba's younger daughter. And I think they kind of went away from the original plan, because I think in Lion King 2, the animated version, the movie, I think he ends up having a son, because at the end of Lion King 1, he holds him up again, like this the circle of life. I think that was his son, Simba's son. So he ended up having a girl first in this universe, and then later on in the movie at the end, if you've seen the movie, I hope that ain't no spoilers, but the movie been out for a while, so I kind of watch movies a little later than what they like when they first come out. So yeah, he ends up introducing his daughter to his newly son. But in the beginning, you see that Nala walks off into this secluded area within the Pride Lands, and she you can see that she's about to conceive, and she's pregnant, she's about to have a baby. So Simba has to go take care of her. He has to go tend to her, make sure nothing happens to her, but he has to leave his daughter, I think it's Kintara, if hopefully I'm saying that right, behind. So he leaves her behind with Timon and Pumbaa. So, they was hilarious in the movie. I think they really shine in this aspect of where they needed to shine at, even though they didn't get a lot of screen time, which they kept saying over and over in the movie, because they just so used to being in the movie from Lion King 1. Also, I think Rafiki was like the way they went about everything. Rafiki was the right person to tell the story, not Timon and Pumbaa, because you kind of take Rafiki a little bit more serious as a character than all the other characters, because of who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rafiki has aura too. Like, he's just that wise old, you know what I'm saying, old person, but they got him as a baboon. But he keeps saying in the movie, like, what do you say? I'm a Mao. Whatever he said. And but he was actually the right person to do it. And it starts off as in Simba, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, especially in the black community, they talk about, and they joke about it, but they talk about, and it hits on colorism within the community. Is just basically based off of well, Scar, aka I think it was Taco or something like that. I'll probably getting the names wrong because I didn't really do the research. This all off the top of the dome, but so I'm just gonna say Scar. Scar, what I'm saying, was originally, what I'm saying, he was the son of a king. So that's what you're gonna learn within the movie, if you already seen the movie. But also Mufasa was too. So there isn't really no somebody was supposed to have the role over the other role. Somebody was really supposed to be king. They just let him be king because he looked this way or that person looked that way. It was basically he was more qualified. And I think that in our community, like we use that as a crutch, or you find a reason that you don't like something about yourself, and then you put it on somebody else, and then you tend to say, what I'm saying, if it wasn't for this, you wouldn't have that. But if that person is qualified, they qualified. Point blank period. We see a lot of instances where people are not qualified and they get the job and we get mad, but then we don't hold that same accountability within our community. Just wanted to point that out. So we see Mufasa with his mother and his father. We don't get the names of them two, but they're in this desert, and they really are starving. They really from the slums. So, but they have a positive attitude about things. They're headed to Malele. This is what a destination that everybody's trying to get to. This Malele, which ends up being the Proud Lands and Proud Rock, what I'm saying, within the Lion King universe. So finally get rain. I'm skipping parts. So Mufasa starts running, and what I'm saying, he's saying, oh, I'm the fastest cub out here, this, that, or third, and his father bigging him up, saying, yeah, you are the fastest cub. And that just goes to show like the confidence that a father can instill within a son, or even a mother can instill within a son or a daughter. And I think as a the parenting aspect in this movie is so great because you see two sides of it and what it can do to each individual child. You feel what I'm saying? So as a parent, I feel like you always supposed to build the confidence of your child. Never try to tear it down to try to like reverse psychology or anything like that. Like, at least, saying, because the world is going to do that on its own. It's your job to, saying, to build it up and to protect it. Which, saying, Mufasa father did. So he ended up running around, and as he's running around, it starts to rain. And it hasn't probably rained. They live in like the safari, so that's like in the desert. So it starts to rain, and they haven't felt rain, and he never even felt rain before in his life. So he's like, what's this? So it ends up raining, and they imagine them being in Malele, this rainforest tropical area with grass, water, food, all the type of nutrients, everything that they need to survive outside, in the wilderness. So it starts to rain. They went down into like this little dam area, if I'm saying it right, like a little ditch or whatever, to, go down there, get a drink of water. All of these other animals come as well: giraffes, wildebeest, antelope, all types of different type of animals come down. They drink the water or whatever. Everybody's finally, quenching their thirst. They finally catch a break within what's has been going on. So as it's raining, the water is coming in really, really fast. You feel me? And Mufasa, I keep wanting to say Simba so bad, but Mufasa, he slips, he falls in the water. The giraffe picks him up and he says thank you. So they already in this pride alone, they already had a community base within other animals. Like, they was communicating, they was acting as one. So this is where he gets it from, and it's going to play a big part within the end of the movie. So he helps him up on the rock, because he doesn't really know how to swim. He hasn't been in water before at all, and that's going to be a theme throughout the movie. So as the water is coming in faster and faster and faster, they start getting worried. Mufasa father and mother tell him to come back, but he can't because the water that came in so fast. It's overtaking him. He's about to, he's swimming. He don't really know how to swim. He don't know if he's drowning, he's swimming, whatever the case may be. His father. This is why I say, a lot of people, when buying dogs, it's basically like, when you buy a dog, you want to know the bloodline of the dog. You want to know where it came from, all these type of things, because the things that Mufasa is going to show in this movie, he gets from his mother, that was his father. He gets from his father, and then his adopted mother. His mother really wasn't. She was like a nurturing type of mom, but she didn't really show him anything. But we know that in the bloodline of Mufasa, because we see it in Simba and we see it in Mufasa, is this heroic type of you know what I'm saying, lion. You feel what I'm saying? Like this lion that acts before he really thinks about the situation. He just goes with the, not really goes with the flow, but he does what lions really supposed to do. And he saves him. He throws him towards the sideline. I mean, if I said sideline, towards the, like, this little dam where he can, you know what I'm saying, rest at. And he really saves him. So, but the father is still in the water. I think that's really how he you know what I'm saying, dies. But they don't really show that he died. You know what I'm saying? They kind of show like Mufasa getting washed away, and his mom and dad really not knowing where he went. He flows down the river. He finds a log, flows down the river, and as he flows down the river, it's kind of like, okay, now he becomes a stray. Now he becomes a cat that doesn't, you know, know where his home is at. He's oblivious. Like, it's like throwing your child out, or even if you yourself, like, I'm leaving the nest early, but just imagine you being a cub doing it, and or you being underage and doing it. I'm pretty sure there's stories out there that's like that. When he comes across land, and when he comes across land, he meets Scar, but his name is, I think it's Taka or something like that. I'm not for sure. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. So he's like, man, I got a secret to tell you. And he said, like, what? He's like, what? Just tell me, like, you're about to get eaten because there's alligators and crocodiles in the water. So he ended up getting to the edge, and this is where this is why I think that Disney, and maybe just Lion King or developers of Lion King, but just Disney, they are very good at storytelling. If you don't know, I'm a fan of storytelling. Like, if you can tell a story to captivate your audience, and it's very, very good. But they knew that, like, we've gotten origin stories before, but never on this level, because we got the origin story of Cruella. We got the origin story of that, but, like, because she was she was an antagonist, but she was a character that people cared about. Mufasa and Scar, they go together, so they knew that you can't tell the story of Mufasa without Scar. So it's kind of like, but you will want to know, these characters are so iconic that you want to know the backstory for these characters. That's why I say that for them to put out this before they put out Lion King 2, which is Simba's son, was very, very smart. Now, when he saves him, but, like, as you know, like in the original animated movie, like when Mufasa dies, it's kind of like Scar killing him. Like, he could have saved him, but he throws him off the cliff. Well, in this instance, as cubs, it's the same scenario, but he saves him this time from the crocodiles, alligators, and it's just like, that's when Scar mother comes around, and, like, but this area that I want to put in context, and that's why this is where I get, like, when I watch movies, I get everything that I'm seeing, because I understand the storytelling of it. Mufasa was really from the slums. If you really look at it, like, they didn't have water, they didn't even really eat, they didn't have water, nothing like that, but they just had a positive attitude about things. Compared to Scar, and people look at Scar now as an adult, like, damn, how did he get so bad? But he started off so good, because you got, like, this area where it's totally different from Mufasa's. It's totally, like, they have green grass, it's water, it's food, they got trees, they got shade. Like, it's totally different from how Mufasa was coming up. Now he meets his mom, and I'm pretty sure, I forgot their name or whatever like that, but he meets Scar mom, and she's kind of hesitant on taking him in, because he's like, his father, like, we don't do strays, we don't do cats outside of the family, they only deal with the bloodline. So somehow, some way, they end up convincing the mom to take him in. So she ended up taking him in, but as he's, like, taking him in, he's like, I'm tired, like, I just floated in the ocean, I just floated in the river for I don't know how long, you know what I'm saying, I barely survived, like, I don't even feel like walking for real. But he ends up meeting the father, the Scar's father, and Scar's father is, what's the words I can put around it, it's more so like just entitled, scared, and words I just can't think of right now to describe him, but it's more so like, he's like, no, we don't want, don't want you. I really want to eat you. He like, I would rather eat you than to save you. And that's another thing that kind of lit a light bulb while I was watching this, like, because I watch a lot of Animal Planet and I've seen videos of lions eating other lions from different bloodlines that can possibly challenge him within the pride. So like a lot of things that they got from actual lions and what they do in real life, they incorporated in this movie. So I was like, that was a big one up for me. I was like, okay, that's kind of dope right there, because it was like, to put that in a movie, of course it's a Disney movie, I'm like, oh, they really been doing their homework on lions. So and she was like, no, he's not really a threat. She was like, what's your name? He was like, I'm Mufasa. See, his name means king, so he's from another pride and his name is king. His name means king. He's gonna try to overtake me when he gets older. Like, he was, the father was already hip, like how things go and like in the Lions world and all that type stuff. So it was kind of dope for him, for that sequence to happen. So for Mufasa to get inside the pride, he had to basically race his son, because Mufasa was like, well, I'm the fastest cub, so I'm the fastest cub alive. So Mufasa already had confidence within himself instilled from his upbringing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Taka really didn't. I keep saying Taka. Well, Scar really didn't have that. Like Scar was just a happy-go-lucky kid who knew that his father was the king, that he was up next. That's how they portrayed Scar to be as a youngin coming up. So they ended up racing. The father trips up Mufasa. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all this stuff, but I was just watching, like, but the mother said something so impactful that it should resonate with all youngins, all teenagers, like even adults. Like, she said, she was like, he was like, well, Scar has to win his first ever challenge. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to build Scar's confidence up, but at the same time, it's manufactured. And she said, no, you can't manufacture his confidence. You can't manufacture a win. He has to earn it the right way. So the mom was already, she was basically doing what the dad was supposed to do, compared to what, you know what I'm saying, a mom does. That was the dope thing about this. The mom was more of a like, you have to earn everything you get, so that when you do get it, you get the respect that you deserve. When you do get it, it's not just given to you. So this pride is not looking at you like, oh, the only reason why you're here is because somebody gave it to you. So Scar ends up letting Mufasa win the race, and just so that he don't get eaten and stuff like that. So he's like, the father gets mad, like, oh, well, you can stay, but you got to stay with the females. This is also another dope thing that they did, because in the, like, if you watch Lions videos, Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, anything like that, like, sometimes it's like that and sometimes it's not. I watch a lot of Animal Planet. Like, you got some prides, it is males over here and females over here, but they all are one pride, but they just separate. And then some prides, they're all together. It just depends on what type of vibe they got within the pride. But within this pride with Scar family, he never, like, his father never looked at Mufasa as his own. Like, the mom, she took him in as her own. Like, that's one thing. That's another thing that I say about the parenting aspect of this movie. It hits on so many different aspects, because it shows you in one parent, this is the wrong way to do a stepchild or an adopted child or anything like that. This is the right way to do a stepchild or an adopted child, how to raise them and bring them up if you got them at this young age. So he ends up saying, you can't stay with the males, you got to stay with the females. So they end up growing up that they are teens. They are not fully grown males. That's another point I want to point out. They are not fully grown males. Mufasa and Scar they are still teenage males. They don't even have their full beard, none of that. So they grow up. Mufasa grows up more with the females and the mom, but in the lion world, the females are the hunters. They are the more skilled hunters. They are the more skilled lions. They are not the more powerful lions. That's why they can't become king. That's why they're not feared by most of all. The male lions are, because of their stature, their strength, their power. So a female could never challenge a male. You feel what I'm saying? Not because she's not skilled enough, but she just doesn't have the sheer willpower to overtake him. You see what I'm saying? But in this movie, the males that's in Scar Pride are lazy. They sleep around all day, like, and you'll see it in the movie if you haven't watched the movie. It's kind of like they sleep, they just lazy. And he didn't teach Scar really anything. He didn't teach him how to hunt. He didn't teach him, you know what I'm saying, the ways of the lion, to be a pride, how to lead, all these things that if you were putting all this pressure on your son to be the next king and you didn't give him any tools to survive, you feel what I'm saying? You kind of set your son up for failure. While on the other hand, Mufasa has been with the mom, but she's been on hunts. She's teaching him how to use his abilities, how to smell, how to hear, how to all these type of things that you need to survive out in the wild. He's learning, but it's kind of different because usually males don't learn this type of stuff. And it's also an aspect of, if you bring it back to the original animated movie Lion King, when he was with Simba and he was teaching him how to hunt. You feel what I'm saying? So he really got that from his if you bring stuff back to the original and what happened in the original movie, after you watch this, you're gonna be like, oh, so you're gonna start connecting the dots. That's what made this movie so dope, because I thought back like, oh snap, like when you see the original movie and when he was teaching Simba how to hunt, when he was messing with Zazu, and that's going to be another thing as well. It's like, dang, like, oh, that's where he got that from. He didn't even, you would have thought that, you know what I'm saying, he would have learned that from his father or another great king and all these aspects. No, he learned that from his mom. And it wasn't even his original mom, it was his adopted mom. So in that aspect, they go out for a hunt, and Mufasa and the mom, and they're hunting something, they trying to find something to eat or whatever, and Scar he's trailing them, but they don't really know. They ended up meeting these other lions, with these albino lions they called the others, but they are albino lions. They're all white lions, but they're a lot more bigger and massive than the original lions that we see on the screen. And as they're, you know, in the middle of a hunt, they end up colliding with each other, and Mufasa ends up killing one of the lions, the albino lions, which was the son of the king of that pride. So that starts the whole beef, the whole war. And these lions are more aggressive, they're more athletic, they're more everything more than the lions that we see on the screen. So once each lion go back to their original pride, so it's like, okay, so they're gonna come for us. Them albino lions, they're gonna come for us. They're massive, they're huge. The stories that we heard about, they are true, and they ended up clashing. So when the albinos finally come back to attack the other lions, which was Scar Pride, you know, so Scar's mom and dad tell him and Simba, him and Mufasa to flee, like, just run. We're gonna take this L. They're gonna probably kill us and all that, because we're not strong enough to fight these guys. But I want you carry on the name. Scar, you carry on my name. I'm the king. Mufasa, I need you to bound your loyalty to me, which was kind of a thing. If you didn't catch it, he pledged his loyalty to the father. He didn't pledge his loyalty to actually Scar. He pled his loyalty to the father that died. So once he really died, that kind of loyalty kind of went away. But if you look at it like that, but they ended up running, and when they met, like Scar's father and the albino and the leader, the king of the albino lions, you can tell the difference. Like, he was bigger, he was more agile. Remember, Scar's father he's been laying around. The female's been doing all the hunting. He's never, like, he's not in shape, anything like that. So they take them out, wipe them out. They ended up catching up to Mufasa and Scar, but they was like on the edge of a cliff. They end up jumping off the cliff. Boom. So after they jump off the cliff, right? Which I said, like, Mufasa really don't like water, for the simple fact that what happened in his childhood, they ended up washing away to almost getting eaten by crocodiles again to shore, and they ended up doing their own thing. Now they're on their own. But they're being tracked by the albino pride, the others. Now these, like I said before, the only thing I really had I didn't like about this movie was they kind of made them like they was like dogs a little bit, because I know cats, they have great ears, they get great hearing, great eyes. great eyesight, but they don't really have that much of a great of a scent than a dog. Like they made these cats like they was smelling stuff throughout and hearing, like it was crazy. So this is where they ended up catching up. You, if I'm not mistaken, no, you end up seeing Rafiki. Rafiki's with his pride, his baboons or whatever, and they're like, they're saying that Rafiki he's just off. You know, so he's having dreams. He's the bad luck charm. A cheetah or a leopard just try to come into the tree house. We almost got eaten 2 times in a row. Like they're blaming everything on Rafiki. So Rafiki like, okay, you know what? I'm gone. I'm cool. I'm gonna be alright. You know what I'm saying? Rafiki just got that about him. Like I'm gonna be alright. I know what's going on. I know what's up. You know what I'm saying? I believe in something bigger than everything that's going on than what you could see with your 2 eyes. So he ended up, you know what I'm saying, leaving. But in the midst of that, Scar and Mufasa end up finally meeting Sarabi. Now, like, I don't know about y'all. Every time I hear that name, it just be like, Sarabi! That's just crazy. So, and like I said, Sarabi, what we didn't know from the original Lion King movie was who Sarabi was. Like she didn't really get that much screen time. Like we didn't really know her background, who she was. So it's kind of like, okay, she was actually a princess. She was a daughter of a king. So you got 3 strays. All these strays are princesses or princes of kings of different prides. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the dope part about it. You feel what I'm saying? And then they end up meeting up with Rafiki. Now, Rafiki has an aura like, usually, you know what I'm saying, it's lions, baboons, they're going to try to eat them, whatever the case may be, bro. You're not going to eat me, bro. Come on, man. Like, I already know we all headed to the same place. And he mentioned Malele, the only person that really, everybody think that Malele is this myth. Like, it don't exist. So, they don't end up eating Rafiki, but they also end up meeting Zazu, you know? So, like, when and then it brings you back to the first original movie, it's kind of like, damn, you thought Zazu was with Mufasa after, because that's when you first start seeing him when he was with Mufasa. But the whole time Zazu was really Sarabi. That's Sarabi's like little wingman. Like that's her scout. That's who, you know, so her father, the king of her pride, gave her Zazu. So I thought that Zazu really came from Mufasa. That was another dope thing that I didn't know about. So, you know what I'm saying, they end up going on this quest, and it's just that like they ended up getting to like this cave. Well, not really this cave, but more like this canyon, like the Grand Canyon. Like these, you can either go up or you can go down. And this is where like this human aspect of, okay, now it's more so of, it comes to when 2 guys and it's a girl and they both fighting for the same girl or whatever the case may be. This is like how I kind of looked at it, like, okay, now they're tapping into like the dating world of today's, or how dating should be, not how it is today, but how it should be. You know, you got a lot of surface level ways of dating and how people see things nowadays compared to like how they're going to showcase this if you haven't seen the movie. And it basically comes down to, you know what I'm saying, who's more qualified at the situation at hand. And like, you can't really compare it to being like to human beings, because we have so much else that goes on within our lives compared to just surviving in the wild like a lion would, just eating, bathing, and the same thing. Like it's much more than that. But I will say this though, it's kind of like the entitlement that Scar had compared to the actual qualifications that Mufasa had, that's what really, you know what I'm saying, determined who she was going to pick. But she didn't really know she was picking in the first place. It was, everything happened like the way they went about it, everything happened organically. That's what made it dope. Also the friendship aspect of it. So it's kind of like, well, not friendship, brothership, but it come down to friendship as well. But it's also like, okay, Scar tells Mufasa, okay, I like Sarabi, you know what I'm saying? After a while, they kind of, you know what I'm saying, they've been walking for a while, they've been on this journey for a while. But before that, I'm skipping stuff. Before that, like Mufasa like tells them like they don't know which route they're gonna go. So he's like, well, we're gonna go down because if you listen and if you hear everything, like they're coming up. They're above us. They're hunting from above. We should go down and use the rocks and all that for our camouflage. And she's like, and Sarabi's like, well, I don't know about that. How do you know? And he like kind of convinces her and shows her the way that his mom showed him how to track and hunt was basically like slow down, close your eyes, listen, use your senses. You know what I'm saying? We have our senses are like superpowers for real when it comes down to it. And she hears the things that he's telling her. That's a trait that goes off though. Like if you watch it, it's like, oh, he can relate to her because he knows how to hunt. Scar really don't know how to hunt. Like he don't really know how to survive on his own. Like if it's not for Mufasa, he probably would have been got caught. So they end up going down. Once they end up going down through the canyon, they end up getting tracked. They end up running into like a elephant stampede. But it's kind of weird because like elephants around this town don't really walk this way. So you know what I'm saying, they end up like albino pride, the others end up catching up with them. But it's kind of like rocks they gotta jump over to get to them. Like it's like a canyon, like I said. So it's a space in between. So they're like, well, we fine. They can't get over here. Like they are like super powered lions, bro. Like they jump over like everything, bro. They can jump far. Everything was crazy. This is where a very important part as well is because, and I did skip over a part because within the first fight that I told you about with the albino lions and Mufasa and the mother, Scar was there. He was just scared to protect his mom. So that was like, so Scar really didn't have that dog in him. Scar didn't have that confidence that Mufasa already had. So Scar was already, he just felt entitled to everything because of, he thought that he was, you know what I'm saying, next in line as to be king because of who his father was. And let alone, like I said, his father was a lazy son of a gun. So as the fight is about to start, Sarabi sees a tree with a beehive. So she climbs the tree, uses the beehive, knocks it down, the bees go everywhere. That's what starts the stampede. That's going to give them an out. That's going to give them a way to, like, you know, so they can't run through a stampede of elephants to get to us. But in the midst of that, she ends up falling down and getting hit by the elephant herself. And like I said, this goes back to, you know what I'm saying, building the confidence, build like everything. Like sometimes you just don't have the qualifications to really, you know what I'm saying, get what you want. And it's crazy because how they displayed this in this movie is perfect. You feel what I'm saying? Because Scar wanted Sarabi, but you know what I'm saying, he couldn't really relate to her because, you know what I'm saying, he was actually asking Mufasa, well, how do I talk to her? Everything that Mufasa he said to say to her, he did, and it worked because it was organic. It was true to who Mufasa was. It was everything about it, you know what I'm saying? So you can't fake the real. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if you just can't fake the real, you keep trying to fake the real and it's not working because it's not authentic. So he as she pulls the beehive down and she gets hit by an elephant, like she's out in the open. Like if any elephant step on her, she's done. So as you can tell, if you was seen in the movie, like Scar sees her. He sees everything that's going on. Like she's laying on the floor. Like he just wouldn't go out there and save her. You feel what I'm saying? Who you think went out there to save her? Mufasa. Like he built for that. That's what I'm saying. He built for that. Like, so everybody that used to be like back in the day or on social media be like, oh man, Mufasa stole Scar's shine. No, he didn't, bruh. He didn't. He wasn't built for that. And that's what, you know what I'm saying? So he Mufasa saves her. Like, I got you, you know what I'm saying? But she's already unconscious. He didn't know that she can really hear him. So like after the stampede was over, you know what I'm saying, it got rid of the other lions from tracking them. Rafiki does like this little thing and gets her up and wakes her up from unconsciousness, and she's like, well, who saved me? And Mufasa was like, Scar, because he already told him that he liked her, and you know what I'm saying, he's just trying to do the right thing by him. And she like, well, thank you, wooty wooty woo, this, that, and the third. So they get to like another area, like it's snowing. They get to these mountains, it's snowing, this, that, and the third. And Mufasa, like his king for just like knowing what's going on, knowing what to do, just the leadership qualities, everything about it. You feel what I'm saying? Scar was never on that. He was never on that type time. So like he tells Zazu like, hey, you're the only person that can cover our track. So Zazu knocks the snow down from which way they was walking. So the other lions couldn't find them, which they couldn't. They was trapped in the snow. They didn't really outsmarted them. Now they really lost them because they're stuck in the snow. They can't track them. They can't really go nowhere. They can't see anything. So they're good to go. So during this time, Sarabi kind of finds out that like, okay, who really saved me? But how she finds out is kind of like, she asks Mufasa, what you doing? He's like, I'm hunting. And she like, well, it's a whatever about to pop out right there. And it popped out as soon as he said it. And she was just like, well, like, you just amazing. Like, you know when this is going to happen. You saved us from that. You saved us from this. Like, and he was like, I got you. The same words that she said when she was unconscious, and it just clicked for her. She was like, whoa, I got you. Like, you the one that really saved me. And it sparked a love scene between them two. You feel what I'm saying? That Scar ended up seeing from afar. You feel what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, for guys, bro, you as a man, what you do, how you do it, how you operate in your normal day-to life should attract the girl, bro. If you like, you're not really supposed to, like, you can go after a female if you're serious, if the moment is right, but you just going to holler at female after female after female after female, it's not really the way to go. She'll choose you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's up to you to be in the right place at the right time, but in all, like, she'll choose you. Like, so Robbie chose who she chose for the simple fact that you got to remember her father was a king too. So it's kind of like she knows what's going on. She's attracted to, you know what I'm saying, leaders, or she's attracted to, you know what I'm saying, hunters and people. Like, he just knows what to do at the right time, at the right moment. He's the reason why they're still alive right now. You feel what I'm saying? So they had this little love moment. Scar sees it. This is what really turns Scar into Scar. Like, him seeing Mufasa and Sarabi do their little thing or whatever. So Scar, man, he had me like really mad about I was getting ready to throw something at the TV. So he ends up falling down the cliff, runs into the lions that have been chasing them. They've been stuck. They was stuck at the beginning of the mountain cliff. Like, they really lost them though. That was the crazy part about it. They really lost them. And he ends up like, hey, basically going to side with them. It was Mufasa that killed your son. I can lead you to him. Blase, blase, blah. They end up finding Malele. They end up finding Pride Rock, bruh. They gonna, like, in this movie, bro, they show you how Pride Rock became Pride Rock. All that, bro. It was so fire. So they end up finding Malele. They get there, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, before they even find Malele, it's like, this is when you know somebody hating on you. This is when you know somebody is on BS. So they end up Scar end up finding Mufasa, like, where you been at? We've been looking for you. It's like, he like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I was going out to hunt, but I ain't find anything. Unlike you. Unlike me. What you mean? Like, yeah, but we about to go this way. I think we close to Malele. Wooty wooty woo. You always find it. You always lead us know where to go. You find us, huh? You just know what to do. When's we gonna get to talking like that? Bro, come on, bro. But you gotta understand, that still, Mufasa still looks at Scar as a brother, and so does Scar looks at Mufasa as a brother. But just Scar looks at Mufasa as like a stepbrother. Mufasa looks at Scar like that's his real brother. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have no ill will towards him. You feel what I'm saying? But in all, and it really doesn't have anything to do with money, status, anything. It's just like Scar just envious of Mufasa because of his skill set. You feel what I'm saying? That's all it is. And they end up finding Malele, like I said, and the albino lions end up catching them. Like they was right there, like, oh snap, I wouldn't let they like she like, well, you got people, the giraffes is like, well, you got people hunting you and you're gonna bring them here. It's kind of like, we already got enough problems here, don't bring more problems over here. And he like, nah, I would never, you know what I'm saying, we lost them, you know what I'm saying, we came here to find a new home, to start a new life. You feel what I'm saying? But overall, Scar put them peoples on his back. I was like, bruh, you got to be the most. So they end up getting there. It starts a whole fight. Now, like I said, Mufasa is a teen lion. He doesn't really have his full. He hasn't matured into the full grown male lion yet. He's about to fight a full grown male lion, albino lion at that, and he's more massive than the other lions that they've ever came across. You feel what I'm saying? This is who Mufasa has to fight. So he ends up fighting him. He gets overpowered, and he ends up like leading him down the way. But he end up maneuvering him, and like the big lion falls down a cliff. Boom. Sarabi goes to the other lions that they see within Malele, which is basically Pride Rock, and was like, I'm gonna try to recruit them so they can help us fight them off. And then Mufasa, after that happens, Mufasa's like, he kind of went into a speech, but kind of not, like basically like. And remember what I told you at the beginning of the video, like Mufasa comes from them actually being friends with other animals, and you seen that at the beginning of the movie. So he's like, man, if y'all all fight with us, we can run the albino lions up out of here. But like we better as one than if it's just the lions just fighting. And if they win, just because they not coming after y'all now, they'll come after y'all later on. So at first they wasn't with it, but like after a while, you know what I'm saying? Like Rafiki was off that thing recruiting. Like this movie was just tough, bro. It hit on, like I said, it hit on so many aspects. And then you got the big fight within the cave with Mufasa and the albino lion, and Mufasa's getting overtaken. Of course, he's the albino lion's the bigger lion. Like I said, like male lions are made for fighting, and sometimes they don't really hunt. Only time they really go on a hunt is if like the females go out and then they run across something that's bigger than what they can handle. They're sending a lion back to go get the male, and then like if it's a giraffe or something like that, because a giraffe can kill a lion, and then it's just, okay, we need you big brother, come, you know what I'm saying, take care of business or whatever. So they end up fighting. Scar tries to, you know, so make amends for what he did, and he ends up jumping in front of the albino lion claw. That's how he got the scar on his eye. I'm like, okay, everything's coming together. That's why he becomes Scar. I'm like, okay, cool. So the rock falls, it becomes a flood. They're like in the basically like in a pond thing or whatever, and Mufasa uses his, you know, his senses that he learned from his mom that raised him. Like he ends up using everything that she taught him to move, like to kick, you know what I'm saying, the albino lion into the way of the rock, smashes him, he swims up. And like I said before, this iconic pose of Mufasa trying to, you know what I'm saying, get up top, and then the claws of Scar trying to save him, with this decision to save him or to let him die, happens again. And Scar ends up saving him and brings, and in that case, you know, after that, you know, everybody seen what Mufasa did, and it was like, yeah, you're the king now. Like you saved us from these lions. You took leadership, all these type of things, and Mufasa's like, bro, I don't really want to be king. Like I just want to live peacefully, bro. I didn't do this to be king. I did this to live peacefully. And it was crazy. He ends up finding his original his birth mom was there and things like that. Finds out that his dad died, but his birth mom was there. She ended up linking up with Sarabi and all that. And like at the end, it's like Scar, like they like, what do you do about Scar? Because they found out that he betrayed them. And it was just like, this is why like certain people, it's a vibe or it's a thing that you get when you get around other certain people that be on bullshit, be on BS, and you just be like even though you got to deal with it, but you don't got to deal with it at the same time. It's just like you kind of mature your way through it. So like Mufasa like, well, that's my brother regardless, and if this is my home, that's gonna be my brother home, but I'm not saying your name. That's when Scar comes about. He was like, just call me Scar then. Like, I'm not gonna say your name. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel as though like that's another thing that another jewel that they threw in there. It's kind of like when if you at odds with somebody or like y'all just don't click, bro. I'm not finna be saying your name, talking about you. I don't really care no more. I don't really like. I'm not, because the more I talk about you, the more you become relevant. The more like it's just not. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. It's just like I don't even want to speak your name. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be around you and deal with you, but I don't even want to speak your name. And because words have power, and it's just like me speaking your name is like we cool again, and that's not the case. You really could have got me killed. Like that was your objective, to get me killed. You know what I'm saying? Over a choice that she made, not I. She made this choice. You feel what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But overall, like, and then at the end of overall, like at the end of the movie, after the story was told, you kind of see like Mufasa, like how we seen him in the animated movie, in the clouds roaring with Simba's daughter roaring on top of Pride Rock, and like just the how Pride Rock became Pride Rock, them fighting in there, everything about it, bro. Like the Lion King universe is dope, bro. It's a dope movie, and I think how they tied everything in, like they need more movies like this where, and I think only Disney can do it because Disney has the roster of movies to do it. It's like you can take maybe Captain Hook from Peter Pan, or maybe I do want to see a Goofy movie be made, not animated, but like how they did these movies, like with real animals and stuff like that, and give them personality would be dope. Would be like Disney is probably like the only company, because they have so many movies on the roster with so many dope stories that they can actually go back and be like, this is the character in this story that we should give an origins for, and it'll tie, and you can just be, because that's your creative side. Now you have freedom to do with whatever you want. You have a couple things to tie in to make it make sense, but other than that, you can make the movie however you want to make it, and you have creative creativity. So in all aspects, you know what I'm saying, I think this movie was dope. I think this is a movie not just for kids, but like for grown folks. Like I said, I watch movies a little different now. I watch movies for the storylines. I watch movies for what the creator is the story he's trying to get across. And I got everything that I feel as though the creator was trying to get across to the audience. I got tenfold of the message he was trying to send, everything, bro. So it is what it is. I'm gonna start doing more movie reviews. I did end up watching Den of Thieves 2. I'm gonna give you my analysis on that, and my recap. And mine is a little different. I don't got all the animated stuff and all that. I just sit in here right here and watch the movies, bro. I make sure I'm, you know what I'm saying, I probably got something to eat. I did everything I need to do. Cut the lights off, set the mood, light a candle or something like that, and I watch the movie like I'm locked in. I'm paying attention to everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Just because I want to see what type of story is going to be, what type of message you want to get across, or even if it's entertaining, action packed, whatever it may be, horror, I don't care what it is. If it's I know the creator is trying to get something off, so I'm just here to see what that is. If you enjoyed this video, I know it's gonna be kind of long, but I think we need long form content back. I think we need for the youth to not have such a short attention span, and to actually get what, you know what I'm saying, some of these movies, TV shows are trying to get across, the message as well, because you know what I'm saying, it's power in these movies if you watch them the right way. It's power in them, and it can really change somebody's life. So it is what it is. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Ron. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and like I said, man, check out the other videos on the channel. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one.